Hello, my name's Kate Hughes and I run Cook Academy near Winchester, and today I'm going to show you a lovely recipe. Today I'm going to show you how to make onion gravy. It's a very simple sauce which is lovely with all sorts of different meats, and to make it you need 30 grams of butter, which you can put into a saucepan, a little bit of stock. It can be any kind of stock depending on which meat you're going to serve it with. This is beef stock, we could use chicken stock or ham stock, or just a vegetable stock as well. With the onion, you want to chop off the shoot end rather than the root end, so that's the papery end, not the hairy end, and sit it on its flat side, cut through the root, and then that makes it easier to take the skin off the onion. So just take the skin off. And you could use big Spanish onions for this, or red onions, or shallots, anything really. And then using one of these big knives, which is a great knife to have, it's a 9.5-inch cook's knife, and it's got a really big blade, and the blade can sit flat on the board while you're chopping. Use your hand as a claw to hold onto the onion, and the tip of the knife stays on the board, and use a rolling chop, moving your fingers back ever so slightly each time you slice, and keeping your fingertips out of the way. So if I was to slice like that, I might chop the fingertips off, but if they're tucked out of the way, then hopefully you won't cut yourself. And the knife, the tip of the knife stays on the board, and it's down, forwards and back up. So always chopping away from you. And that way you can get really fine slices of onion. Same again with the second half. And then you're going to put all the onion in with the butter into your saucepan, heat it so you've melted the butter, and then we're going to cook it really slowly for about 10 minutes to help soften the onion, bring all the natural sugars out of the onion until they're really soft and squidgy. And then we'll turn up the heat after that and caramelise them, and that's exactly how we want them. So now we can get them a little bit browner, which is going to make them even sweeter. So we'll take them back to the oven and put it on quite a high heat, and it's going to take another 2 or 3 minutes just to get a little bit of colour on the onions. And then we've got ready here half a pint of water. I'm going to take a teaspoon of plain flour, and we're going to use a blob of this ready-made stock, which is actually a beef stock. It's got a lovely colour, and it's not full of preservatives and nasty chemicals. It's got a really good flavour. The onions are nice and golden brown now, so we can sprinkle in a teaspoon of flour, mix that around. And then I'm going to add a blob of this stock separately, but if you've got a stock cube, just mix it together with some hot water according to the packet instructions. But this liquid stock's very easy to use like this. And then add the water. If you wanted to put other things in it, like a little bit of port or red wine or things like that, or a bit of mustard, you can use all sorts of different flavourings for onion gravy depending on what you're serving it with. So you could put some herbs in there as well, like some chopped thyme or some sage, but this is just a plain version. Then you need to put it back on the heat so that you can cook the flour, and that will thicken the sauce, and you won't get a nasty raw tasting sauce, because if you eat raw flour it has a very nasty flavour. So you always need to bring the sauce up to the boil and let it boil. Thickened up slightly, it's got a good caramel colour. And then just need to give it a taste. And add some salt and pepper if it needs it. It should be nice and sweet from the onions. A little bit of salt. And that's how to make onion gravy. The onion gravy goes beautifully with the stuffed pork chops, so if you want to know how to make that, go to stuffed pork chops.